Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Ice crystals forming a white deposit, especially on objects outside. Decorate with frosting. Frost a cake. Weather cold enough to cause freezing. The formation of frost or ice on a surface. United States poet famous for his lyrical poems on country life in New England, 1874 to 1963. Cover with frost. Ice crystals frosted the glass. Damage by frost. The icy precipitation frosted the flowers and they turned brown. Provide with a rough or speckled surface or appearance. Frost the glass. Ice crystals forming a white deposit, especially on objects outside. Showing characteristics of age, especially having gray or white hair. Whose beard with age is hoar. Ice crystals forming a white deposit, especially on objects outside. Ice crystals forming a white deposit, especially on objects outside. Compose rhymes. Correspondence in the sounds of two or more lines, especially final sounds. Be similar in sound, especially with respect to the last syllable. Diamonds. Look at the ice on that dame. A heat engine in which combustion occurs inside the engine rather than in a separate furnace. Heat expands a gas that either moves a piston or turns a gas turbine. A rink with a floor of ice for ice hockey or ice skating. The crowd applauded when she skated out onto the ice. A frozen dessert with fruit flavoring, especially one containing no milk. Water frozen in the solid state. Americans like ice in their drinks. Decorate with frosting. An amphetamine derivative, trade name methadone, used in the form of a crystalline hydrochloride, used as a stimulant to the nervous system and as an appetite suppressant. A flavored sugar topping used to coat and decorate cakes. Cause to become ice or icy. An iced summer drink. Put ice on or put on ice. The frozen part of a body of water. Change from a liquid to a solid when cold. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. An interruption or temporary suspension of progress or movement. A nuclear freeze. Stop a process or a habit by imposing a freeze on it. Prohibit the conversion or use of assets. Stop moving or become immobilized. Weather cold enough to cause freezing. The withdrawal of heat to change something from a liquid to a solid. Anesthetize by cold. Be cold. I could freeze to death in this office when the air conditioning is turned on. Cause to freeze. Change to ice. Fixing, of prices or wages etc., at a particular level. A freeze on hiring. Suddenly behave coldly and formally. Be very cold, below the freezing point. Ice hockey. The act of shooting the puck from within your own defensive area the length of the rink beyond the opponent's goal. A flavored sugar topping used to coat and decorate cakes. The formation of frost or ice on a surface. United States poet famous for his lyrical poems on country life in New England, 1874 to 1963. United States poet famous for his lyrical poems on country life in New England, 1874 to 1963. Water frozen in the solid state. An ice containing no milk but having a mushy consistency, usually made from fruit juice. A recording of a song that was first recorded or made popular by somebody else. They made a cover of a Beatles song. Form a cover over. The grass covered the grave. Clothe, as if for protection from the elements. Cover your head. A fixed charge by a restaurant or nightclub over and above the charge for food and drink. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The cover concealed their guns from enemy aircraft. Travel across or pass over. The caravan covered almost 100 miles each day. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The period covered the turn of the century. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. Under cover of darkness. Include in scope. Include as part of something broader. Have as one sphere or territory. This should cover everyone in the group. Fire that makes it difficult for the enemy to fire on your own individuals or formations. Artillery provided covering fire for the withdrawal. Put something on top of something else. Cover the meat with a lot of gravy. A natural object that covers or envelops. Under a covering of dust. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. Make up for shortcomings or a feeling of inferiority by exaggerating good qualities. Bedding that keeps a person warm in bed. He pulled the covers over his head and went to sleep. Hide from view or knowledge. The president covered the fact that he bugged the offices in the White House. Be responsible for reporting the details of, as in journalism. The cub reporter covered New York City. Covering for a hole, especially a hole in the top of a container. Put the cover back on the kettle. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. The course covered all of Western civilization. Sit on, eggs. The female covers the eggs. Protect by insurance. The insurance won't cover this. Cover as if with a shroud. Copulate with a female, used especially of horses. The horse covers the mare. A false identity and background, especially one created for an undercover agent. Her new name and passport or cover for her next assignment. Be responsible for guarding an opponent in a game. Be sufficient to meet, defray, or offset the charge or cost of. Is this enough to cover the check? Help out by taking someone's place and temporarily assuming his responsibilities. She is covering for our secretary who is ill this week. Hold within range of an aimed firearm. Invest with a large or excessive amount of something. She covered herself with glory. Maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. The second officer covered the top floor. Play a higher card than the one previously played. Smith covered again. Protect or defend, a position in a game. He covered left field. Provide for. The grant doesn't cover my salary. Provide with a covering or cause to be covered. Cover her face with a handkerchief. Spread over a surface to conceal or protect. This paint covers well. To take an action to protect against future problems. Count the cash in the drawer twice just to cover yourself. A period of unusually cold weather. The withdrawal of heat to change something from a liquid to a solid. The act of damaging something or someone. Any harm or injury resulting from a violation of a legal right. The occurrence of a change for the worse. The amount of money needed to purchase something. How much is the damage? Loss of military equipment. Inflict damage upon. The snow damaged the roof. Suffer or be susceptible to damage. These fine china cups damage easily. The act of preparing something, as food, by the application of heat. People are needed who have experience in cookery. The act of preparing something, as food, by the application of heat. Cooking can be a great art. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. The act of preparing something, as food, by the application of heat. He left the preparation of meals to his wife. A substance prepared according to a formula. The physician prescribed a commercial preparation of the medicine. Activity leading to skilled behavior. The activity of putting or setting in order in advance of some act or purpose. Preparations for the ceremony had begun. The state of having been made ready or prepared for use or action, especially military action. Their preparation was more than adequate. Preparatory school work done outside school, especially at home. Music. A note that produces a dissonant chord is first heard in a consonant chord. The resolution of one dissonance is often the preparation for another dissonance. A writer of poems. The term is usually reserved for writers of good poetry.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.